In today's video, we're going to talk about why are you suddenly getting such weird tip amounts and more craziness coming out of where else? California. Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone, Mark here with UberHints. Today finds me in Cleveland, Ohio on the eve of their first snowstorm. Who knows what that means? Lucky so far, it is just raining, but I am exhausted. I am beat. My initial flight this morning out of Milwaukee was canceled, and I couldn't get another flight set up to get to Cleveland, at least not in the airline I was on, so I had to switch airlines. And I'll tell you, if you ever want to have a headache, when you register and you check in with an airline, and of course they take your bags and tag your bags, and that flight got canceled. So now one airline had my bags and they canceled. Now I had to make the flight arrangements with another airline. Try getting those airlines to coordinate. Anyhow, all is fine. I got here and I took an Uber to get here, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. I will say, here in Cleveland at the airport, they still allow curbside pickups right outside the baggage claim area. It was so nice. I requested my ride. Within about 3 minutes, it was right there, right outside the door where my baggage was. I mean, I probably didn't have to walk 30 feet. I don't know. I feel sorry for all the people at LAX who have to put up with all those hijinks and shenanigans that are going on right now. So, of course, at the end of the ride, well, a couple of things. And I'd like to get your opinion on this one. What do you really rate people on? Because my driver, there were a couple of things that kind of bugged me. One, it was raining when I went to put my bags in this guy's trunk. The trunk was a mess. It looked like he was doing construction work out of his trunk, and who knows, maybe he does. But he had skill saws and drills, and it was dusty and dirty, and like you would imagine, a place just full of tools. I shouldn't say that, because some guys take such good care of their tools that the tool compartment is cleaner than a kitchen, but this guy's wasn't. And you know, it's not like my baggage that just got off an airplane is all that clean either, but nevertheless, you know, it creates expectations when the first thing that you see is this filthy, grubby, dirty trunk that you can barely squeeze your bags into. But now my driver, he got out, even though it was raining, he got out, he opened the trunk, he put the stuff in, he squeezed it in, shoehorned it in somehow. Did the same thing when I got to the hotel. Got out and he took all the bags out, and he took my 2 bags and set them on the curb underneath the awning. So he did get out of the vehicle and went that extra step. Okay, now, what about a conversationalist? I'm not sure he spoke English. Tried to make some small talk, you know, hey, here you got a storm coming. He had no clue what I was saying. Now, in this case, what do I care if the guy doesn't want to have small talk? But what if I had something important to tell him about the ride? So, you know, I have all these pluses and minuses going on. What did I do? Yeah, I tipped him the medium amount. Not the minimum amount, but when I entered my ride, it was $19, and it allowed 1, 3, or 5. I gave him $3. I figured that's a pretty good tip, right? That's 15%. So that's what he got tipped. Now, people have been asking, Mark, how come I'm getting these weird amounts? I used to get even dollar amounts. Is something, you know, hinky happening with my tips? No, absolutely not. Here's what's happening with the tips, and I kind of hinted at it already. Sometimes, and I don't know what makes the difference. For a while, I thought maybe it was dollar amount, but I haven't quite figured out the pattern yet. But sometimes when you're a passenger, and by the way, I know I keep interrupting my own thoughts, but this is one of those things. I always tell you, one of the number one things you should do in order to become a better driver and understand Uber better is take a few rides, because you learn a lot of stuff. So anyway, sometimes when the ride ends, it gives you an opportunity to rate your driver, and then it says, do you want to leave a tip? Sometimes it'll say, like it did for me today, do you want to tip a dollar amount, 1, 3, or 5? Sometimes It'll say, do you want to tip a percentage, 10, 15, or 20? Or it might say 12, 18, or 22, something like that. So people that choose to tip a percentage, that's why you're getting those screwball amounts. You're getting a tip that's $3.84. Has nothing to do with Uber stealing your tip money. It just has to do with the choice, the options that people are given. Now, as you see in this example, even though it gave me a $1, $3, or $5, it also says, do you want to add a custom amount? If I wanted to leave $4.50, for example. It will do the same thing with a percentage. Sometimes it'll say 10, 15, 20%, or I can just say, I just want to leave $4, and I can leave a custom amount. So a lot of you have been asking about this, a lot more than that. It kind of surprised me how many asked about this. So I thought I would share that with you. It's nothing unusual. It's just they're either tipping by percent or they're tipping by dollar amount. That's why your tips are looking a little strange. Now, the next thing, I took an Uber a couple of days ago, and when I got, well, actually it was a couple of days ago, Saturday. And when I was in the car, before the ride ended, I was rating him, and I left a tip. And then I saw later, how come my updated receipt didn't come through? Generally, when I tip, I get 2 receipts. I get the initial receipt that has the value of the ride. Then I get an updated receipt that has the tip added, the one that says thanks for tipping. I never got that. So I went back in, and there was no way that I could tip him because what it told me is, you've already rated this driver. And it said, do you want to amend it? I said, yeah. I can go back in and amend and leave a tip. All the amending allowed it. I tell you, I'm wiped out. All it allowed to do was for me to add commentary. And generally things negative. I had a problem with this ride. I still wasn't able to leave a tip. So that bugged me a little bit. So there is my part of the video that I want to talk about tipping. Now, what's happening in California? This is actually San Francisco. I can't blame all of California for this one. And this story reads, the roads in San Francisco are about to get a little friendlier, or so voters hope, thanks to a measure on this week's ballot known as Proposition D. Sounds a little bit to me like Preparation H. I guess they're both kind of geared at the same thing, right? To soothe that pain in the backside. So anyways, Preparation D asks that you tax rideshare further, all right? So what it wants to do here, Preparation D, once confirmed, will add 1.5% surcharge on shared rides, in other words, Uber Pool, and 3.25%, wow, more than double, on solo rides with ride-hailing apps in the city. So I don't know what that means if you start a ride and you go into the city, or if you start in the city and go out. I assume they can only tax you where it originates, but I could be wrong. Such a hike will total around 10 to 20 cents for a shared ride like Uber Pool or Lyft Line, and about 40 to 60 cents for a solo ride in an Uber or Lyft vehicle. Now, here's what it says is going to happen. This revenue will generate an estimated $30 to $34 million that will go toward what? Public transportation goals, like hiring more Muni drivers and buying more buses and trains. But wait a minute. Hang on to that thought, what they want to do. Hire more drivers and buy more buses and trains. Moreover, about half the funds will be designated for walking and biking safety projects to make streets safer for pedestrians and bicycles. Now, it says the measure comes at a time when San Francisco is seeing more cars injuring and killing pedestrians. 15 people have been killed by August of this year in San Francisco. That may stem in part from an increase in congestion caused by rideshare vehicles in San Francisco's roads. Okay, here's the stuff that I don't like. When they put it in qualifiers like may, it may be caused by that, but it may not. It may be caused by any number of things. It may be caused by drunk driving. It may be caused by, kids not learning to cross at the crosswalk. It could be caused by inadequate lighting on the streets. It could be caused by people wearing dark clothing at night. It could be caused by so many things. But they just say, well, it may be caused by congestion by Uber. There is no evidence to support that. And this is the stuff that kills me about politicians. And they're going to put it in front of the voting public who do not think things through like you and I do. And they're just going to look at that and say, oh, yeah, I guess it must mean that Uber and Lyft are causing this problem. Let's get them. I don't know. I wouldn't be too quick to jump on the bandwagon. It also says here that fewer people are using public transportation. So they want to buy more vehicles and hire more drivers for something that fewer people are using. Furthermore, they are penalizing something people like in an effort to shore up things that people don't like and they're not using as frequently. Is there any logic in that? Hey, they're not using this, they don't like it, let's throw more money at it. They like that, they're using that, so let's tax that more. That is just backwards California thinking. And I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to force people to do what they are not inclined to do. I think it is so screwball. Those of you in San Francisco, are you going to vote for Preparation D? I'd love to hear your comments down below on this one. So that's it for today. Sorry if I was stumbling a little bit. I am just beat and exhausted. As soon as I'm done here, I'm just hitting the bed. And it's only about 7 o'clock. Maybe 6. I don't know. I don't know if my computer has changed over to Cleveland time yet. But as always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please click my face in the corner to subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Mark from the Average Me channel.